Welcome to The Explainer. We're always talking about what should be on a product roadmap, but today we're going to tackle a different problem, one that's often the real source of all that roadmap friction. It's not about what's on your roadmap, it's about how you show it.
And this right here, this is the core idea for today. You can have the most brilliant strategy in the world, but if you present it in the wrong format, all you get is confusion, missed expectations, and frustration. The problem isn't your plan, it's your presentation.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll get to the heart of the real roadmap problem. Then we'll build out your toolkit with the three big formats. After that, we'll talk about how to choose the right one for your situation, cover some pro-level tips, and wrap it all up with the one big idea that makes it all click.
Okay, let's dive right in. That constant tension you feel around your roadmap, chances are it's not actually about the items on the list. It's usually a simple mismatch between the format you're using and what your audience actually needs to understand.
This is such a critical distinction. The content, that's the what. It's the features, the initiatives, the whole shebang. But the format, that's the how. It's the story you're telling about all that work. And trust me, that story completely changes how everyone, from your engineers to your CEO, actually perceives the plan.
All right, now that we've framed the problem, let's build out our toolkit. We're going to walk through the three heavy hitters of roadmap formats: Kanban, timeline, and list. I want you to think of each one as a specialized tool in your toolbox, perfect for a specific kind of job.
First up, we've got the Kanban roadmap. If you've ever seen a board with columns like to do, doing, and done, you already get the basic idea. This format is all about flow. It's not about promising dates, it's about showing a constant stream of progress.
So the huge win with Kanban is its flexibility. Things can change, priorities can shift, and the roadmap doesn't break. It's perfect for teams that are moving fast. But, and this is a big but, that same flexibility can be a weakness. If you've got stakeholders who need hard deadlines, the lack of time signals is going to drive them crazy.
So here's the bottom line for Kanban. It is absolutely fantastic at answering one simple question: what's going on right now? If you need to communicate momentum and the current state of play, this is your tool. Okay, next tool in our box is the timeline roadmap. This is the classic. It's the one most people picture in their heads, a big chart with initiatives plotted out over weeks, months, or quarters. It's all about sequencing, dependencies, and hitting those key milestones.
And its main strength is just how clear it is. Anybody can look at a timeline and pretty much get the plan. But, and you knew there was a but coming, right? This clarity creates a huge risk. It creates a false sense of certainty. Those dates, even if you call them estimates, get treated like promises. And when they inevitably slip, trust gets eroded, fast.
And that really is the timeline's double-edged sword. It's an amazing tool for getting everyone on the same page when that big question, when will this be done, is the most important thing. You just have to be incredibly careful about managing those expectations.
And finally, we have the most beautifully simple format of them all, the list. I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like. It is just an ordered list of what you're going to work on, maybe grouped into themes, no dates, no workflow columns, just priorities.
The beauty here is in its simplicity and its honesty. It's super fast to make and even faster to update, and you're not over-promising on anything. The trade-off, of course, is that you lose all context around timing and how different pieces of work relate to each other.
So what the list gives you is pure, uncut focus. It answers the question, what matters most, with absolute clarity. It strips away all the other noise and just says, this is what's important.
Seeing them all laid out like this, side by side, really makes the trade-offs pop. Kanban is for teams that value flow. Timeline is for when you need tight alignment. And the list is for when you just need crystal clear clarity on priorities. Each one solves a very different communication problem.
Okay, so we've got our toolkit, we know what each tool does. Now for the most important part. How do you choose the right one for your specific situation? Well, it really just comes down to asking yourself three straightforward questions.
First up, who are you talking to? Your internal team might love the flexibility of a Kanban board, but your leadership team probably wants to see a timeline with clear milestones. Next, how certain are you, really? If you know things are going to change, locking yourself into a rigid timeline is just asking for trouble. And finally, be honest with yourself. How much time do you actually have to keep this thing updated? A simple roadmap that's always current is a million times better than a complex one that's always out of date.
All right, let's level up.
because the most effective teams, they understand that one size rarely fits all, to get really smart about how they use these formats and, just as importantly, what mistakes to avoid.
Here's a classic pro move, using different formats for different audiences. It's super common and super effective. Maybe your internal team runs on a detailed Kanban board day to day, but for the quarterly leadership meeting, you present a high-level timeline or a simple priority list. This isn't being inconsistent, it's being a great communicator. You're tailoring the message perfectly for your audience.
And while we're on the subject, here are 4 huge traps you want to avoid. 1. Don't pick a format just because it's trendy. Pick it because it solves your problem. 2. Please, don't put specific dates on a timeline unless they are hard, real commitments. 3. Remember that your format isn't permanent, it should evolve as your team and your product evolve. And 4. Never ever forget that the format you choose sends a powerful message. Make sure it's the one you intend to send.
Which brings us to the single most important idea of this whole explainer. If you only take one thing away with you today, let it be this.
Look, your roadmap is not a stone tablet. It is, first and foremost, a communication tool. Its number one job is to build trust and create alignment. The perfect format isn't going to stop plans from changing, because change is the one thing you can always count on. But what it does do is manage expectations around that change. It makes change feel like an intentional part of the process, not a chaotic reaction.
So, I'll leave you with a question to take back to your team. Take a hard look at the roadmap you're using right now. Is the format you've chosen actually helping you? Is it building trusts and making things clear for everyone? Or is it accidentally creating more confusion and friction? Because answering that question honestly might just be the key to unlocking a whole new level of alignment for your team.